10 years ago, yesterday, I had just finished teaching an amazing weekend experience called Wonders of Wealth. Right after my teaching partner and I, dear friend, we decided to go into the Red Rock. And I brought my journal. And at the time, I was married maybe a couple of years and to my now husband. And we had established everything. I had community homes for the handicapped. I still was doing some tech support for my software company. And I was traveling around teaching money freedom, money and life freedom. A course about like the next level of manifesting beyond the secret, okay? And 10 years ago, I was at a crossroads in my life. It was time for me to stop splitting myself between my companies and focus. I heard the inner voices, it's time for me to focus on what I've always really, really been here to teach. Like, it was time. It was time for me to write books. It was time for me to, like, kind of pull away from the life I had created thus far, 50-some-odd-year life, that I felt by most accounts people judged as successful, driven, helped people, did things, a mover and a shaker. And isn't building any life, you're going to make mistakes. I've made many mistakes. In the summary of my life, my biggest mistakes will stand out. Right there, equal with what people and I judge as fabulous things too. And every human has them. There isn't one of us among us that doesn't. However, your brain will try to make you stop when you make mistakes. And I actually arrogantly thought that I would never stop, because it was one of those things, my tenacity. When I get a vision, I don't stop until it's realized. And this one, the vision I received in Sedona, in the Red Rock, when I asked for guidance, is totally transformed who I am in the past 10 years. Change is the only constant. Your suffering, my suffering, was me believing change is hard. That's not one of the adjectives that the divine gives to change. Change is actually fulfillment. Change is actually movement. Change is actually being connected to the flow. You see, because like if you realize it, or if you don't, you really don't know what tomorrow's going to be. No one does. What you can be certain on and of, change is what you can count on. Now, so for the past 10 years, I have studied the science and the soul, the words and the stories that bring our consciousness to being in the now moment, which allows us to feel just amazing. However, when I began this, I was not who I am now. I was very uptight. I had lots of things I hadn't dealt with. I had spent a lifetime of helping people and not caring for myself. I was a burnt out personal growth, I was a burnt out goody two-shoes. Man, I was so burnt out. My people pleasing had run my adrenaline down to nothing. I didn't realize it when I was teaching, because when I was helping people, you understand, there is a euphoria. There's a euphoria that runs through the body when I channel. So I was addicted to teaching personal growth in order to feel good. And when I wasn't teaching, if I wasn't interacting with my children one-on-one, when I was by myself, I suffered. I suffered anxiety. I suffered self-loathing. All my inner voices would implode. And what I would do, I would go help the next person and not help myself. So I'm in the Red Rock, and I received the vision, and you know, you're going to move, you and your family, you're going to move to a little house, and that's where you're going to begin your major life's body of work, this integration time. And oh, the heavens had opened up. I wrote it in my journal. I texted my husband and I said, would you move? And I'm thinking I'm moving to Sedona or something, you know. Oh, you know, would you move with me? And he goes, anywhere, baby, you're supposed to go, I'm there. And you know, that's just like so fabulous. So I'm on this great thing. So I get on the airplane to go home. Now, as soon as I get to my connecting place, about my last leg home, I get a phone call. Hello, can you please go get Dad? He broke his leg. None of us can. And my children were in online schools. So I could move. I moved. When I got off that plane, I never lived in any of the houses I had ever again. I went directly from the airport from Sedona to a building in the backyard of my childhood home that we called the shed. Now, in the exact environment I grew up in, I could not ignore my childhood wounds anymore. I could not hold my mind together at the stimulation of the same place in which my childhood wounding occurred. And I was living there in an environment with a heightened awareness and too many things to let go of in order to really know who I am. So what I'm here on TikTok to do is, first off, deliver the Course in Miracles. And the other thing is, if you're at a crossroads in your life and you're ready to stop living in the chaos, social media is fucking amazing. And you also need the discipline to know how to use it. Discernment, the science and soul of your words, learning your storyline, and being the master of what you rehearse, of your focus, of your purpose. I am a master teacher of mystics. I am here to bring influencers, mystic influencers, to their level of their message and their reach. And I do that in simple, profound, and fun ways. Bringing you into the now moment is my job. You already know what you're here to do. Now it's time to get your dormant self activated. And let me initiate you to the influential space in your life. Mwah.